Welcome back, everybody, and reporting to you and coming to you live from Parliament this morning. And this, of course, is the centre of attention for South Africans as this evening we see the State of the Nation address being delivered by our President at around about 7 o'clock this morning. And I beg your pardon, 7 o'clock this evening. And it really is one of those moments where the President has got to stand up in front of the nation and plot the course for the year ahead and, of course, talk about some of the achievements from the year before. So it really is going to be a tough one for the President. There's so many issues that South Africans are hoping that the President will address. We talk about the unemployment rate. We talk about the devastating drought that South Africans find themselves in at the moment. And really, there's so many issues that we've got with us here to talk a little bit more about this is Jeff Radebe, the Minister in the Presidency for Planning, Performance, Monitoring, Evaluation and Administration. Minister, so nice to have you. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Leanne, and all your viewers of Morning Live. I'm happy to be here this morning.
Minister, it's a big day for the President. It always is a big day, but it just seems that this year there's so many issues that need to be addressed. And you heard me talk about a few of them. How's the President feeling ahead of the SONA?
Well, he's upbeat. He's going to be addressing the nation this evening at 7, as you have indicated. But I think the context of the State of the Nation address should be taken into consideration that we're operating within a downturn in the global outlook, with many countries registering negative growth, with the slowdown in China. Our own economy is affected by this because we are not insulated from the world economy. You'll recall that earlier this year, the World Bank, they put down our prospect of growth to about 0.8%. And last week, the International Monetary Fund at 0.7%, and our own Reserve Bank at 0.8%. So this is the context within which the State of the Nation address is being addressed. But as we have realized in the recent past, the President has been meeting many stakeholders recently, 2 days ago, with top business leaders in order to ensure that the challenges that we face in South Africa, especially in the economy, is not the responsibility of government alone. We need all stakeholders, especially businesses. You know, more than 80% of the South African economy is in private hands. So working together, we believe we can be able to forge ahead in spite of this negative global outlook.
We look at the NDP and we're in 2016, but 2030 is not a long way away. Do you think realizing these dreams and goals is a reality?
Well, as I've said, working together, we can be able to attain our Vision 2030. You'll recall that last year in September, the President has appointed the new National Planning Commission, which is forging ahead in crafting an implementation plan, because the game in time now is not about merely Vision 2030, but how to implement it. So I think the President will be highlighting some of the things that the government is doing together with its partners in business and labor of how to attain that Vision 2030. Recently, we had the Cabinet Lekgotla, where the progress in terms of the implementation of the 14 outcomes of the National Development Plan have been made, the achievement, the challenges that we're still facing, what needs to be done, especially this year, in accelerating what the President outlined in his State of the Nation address last year, the 9-point plan.
Unemployment, it's a huge issue here in South Africa, but as you mentioned in the beginning, the whole world is going through a very, very tough time at the moment, but we talk about inequality as well. We talk about the issues that are associated with this. We talk about the drought. That's something I imagine the President is going to touch on as well. What are some of the short-term plans that we're putting in place to try and alleviate the situation and help South Africans get through this tough time?
You'll recall last year that when this drought hit South African shores, the President appointed an interministerial committee that is chaired by the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, involving water and sanitation, agriculture and so on. So I'm sure the President will highlight some of those issues, but more particularly during the budget speech of Minister Pravin Gordhan, more details will be put in line about the financial measures that we're putting in place in order to ensure that we mitigate the negative impact of the drought in South Africa.
Looking at some of the policies that we've got in place, and also in the past, Parliament actually established an independent advisory panel on the acceleration of change and transformation, basically looking at the policies of our country and to scrutinise their effectiveness. What have been some of the outcomes of this panel?
Well, I think Parliament will be best suited to answer that question. But broadly speaking, I think the important thing, because the policies are there, is how to effectively implement them. I think that's the challenge that South Africans will need to face on. But we are satisfied as an ANC government that in spite of the challenges, we are working together with our stakeholders in order to ensure more particularly the National Development Plan is being implemented, because for the first time in the history of South Africa, we have one plan, a blueprint, an overarching framework that brings all stakeholders together around one vision 2030.
Minister, thank you so much for talking to us here on the programme. It's a long day ahead, a big day ahead. And of course, today is the big day. It's the State of the Nation address. The President expected to deliver this at 7 o'clock this evening. But there's a lot of events in the run-up to the delivery of this event. And we'll continue to preview it here on this exclusive and certainly comprehensive coverage of the State of the Nation on SABC. Jeff Radebe, the Minister in the Presidency for Planning, Performance, Monitoring, Evaluation and Administration. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
All right, let's take a break. When we